leadership, Scientech Consulting grew from a $10,000 startup to 10 millions in valuation at exit. It has garnered over 20 prestigious industry awards. She's an amazing entrepreneur. And some of the awards include the Asia Recruitment Grand Winner Award, the Recruitment Agency of the Year, the Best Client Services and Best In-House Training. And these awards were in recognition of her company's service standards driven by its core values, people first, always. And Karen's success in her company she founded, which is Biotech Recruitment Space, has made her a much sought after opinion leader who is often quoted in the Business Times, the Straits Times. Her thought leadership articles have been published in Human Resource, Biospectrum magazines. She has also been nominated for the Great Women of Our Times Award 2018 by Women's Weekly magazine. And her entrepreneur success story can be found in Forward, Share Lives Wise book devoted to entrepreneurship. And Karen has also appeared on various other platforms and talk shows and media. And Karen is determined to help others overcome their fear of failure, which is what she's going to talk about today as well. And she has been giving motivational speeches to schools and universities, corporates, and she was also one of the inspirational female speakers for Lancome's Find Your Light event in Singapore.
Hello, thank you for the wonderful introductions. From Singapore here. So it's 9:30 at night right now, so it's a bit dim. Sorry about the dim lighting. And yeah, so tonight I'm going to share with you a little bit on my early school day challenges, and that's really the beginning of how I learned to overcome the fear of failure.
Question: how do you ask someone to be your mentor?
Okay. It's not difficult if you remove the fear of rejection. Okay. So my mentor, I met him. He was a potential employer, actually. So he was my interviewer. And then somehow I kept in touch. I didn't pursue the job that he offered me. So we kept in touch. And then, but we were just acquaintance, really. We don't even meet often. So I just call him one day and say, hey, I know you have this great experience and I'm thinking of starting out this business. Do you have an hour? I just need an hour of your time to run through my P&L, my cash flow projections for an hour, and I'd like to hear what you have to say if you don't mind helping me. So you just ask, you can ask anybody. In fact, very interestingly, there was this very young man who came to my house 20 years ago to do some mattress vacuuming. And then while he was doing it, he learned that I started my business. So, and then after the session, he called me back and said, do you mind if I buy you lunch? I really want to know, how I could scale my mattress cleaning business. And because he was so sincere, and I had lunch with him, so most entrepreneur or people who has been successful or even they're struggling, and as long as they have time and you do present yourself with sincerity and seriousness that you want to learn, usually you get a yes, Yeah.
So thank you.
Have no fear.
To go for it, to just ask the question anyway. You never know what happens.
And remember, when you start your business, you will have to ask for sales.
Many a times people find they are not able to achieve or make up the career of their choice. Isn't one should have more than one or two choices instead of landing up empty-handed? Please advise.
You mean from a job perspective?
Having more than one career choice. So basically, Kawaprit wants to know, shouldn't one have more than one or two choices instead of landing up empty-handed? I think what they mean is putting all your eggs in one basket. Isn't it more advisable to look at two different type of career ambitions at the same time?
I would say that we should always be open and like you don't have to move from one to that. There shouldn't be a number of one or two. You should always be paying attention to what's a changing landscape. What kind of let's say you went to a job interview and you got a job, and then you kind of realize that maybe this industry is not. So let's say you're going to stationery. I'm not saying stationery is not good, but maybe the stationery business has no online presence and has no plan, and then you had to start thinking. So what the business is going to be in the next 5 years time. So you should actually always be looking out at what is the changing landscape, what's going to happen to the world in the next 5 years and next 10 years, and then you path yourself that way. And then from there, you could always be learning, instead of jumping in or, get feeling fear of like, I need another security blanket. I need to make sure I have a few. You shouldn't come from the fear. It should come from a more creative energy. Like, where do I want to be? Is my current career going to take me somewhere in the next 5 years? Otherwise, what can I do about it? Can I speak to my boss about it? So I don't have a number. Yeah.
Karen, let me ask you a question that got me thinking. Sometimes people say if you are already working for another boss and you are working for another company and you're not yet an entrepreneur, but you're sort of tempted with the idea and you're sort of thinking about it, like what would be your advice to somebody who is thinking of entrepreneurship but is scared to take a risk? Like, do you think that person should continue in corporate or working for somebody else, and once the entrepreneurship takes off to then switch completely? Or because you're also such a successful recruiter, so just to tell the audience right now, she is the lady to ask all your questions to do with recruitment, hiring, potential, because she's a goddess in the industry. So Karen, what has been your observation on that?
So it depends on a few things. So number one, do you have some basic knowledge to start out your business? So if you don't have and you're not in a hurry, I would say while you're working, pick up some of those knowledge, like go attend a workshop on sales, on perhaps people management, or some more transformational workshop, and so to pick up the skill, number one. Number two is unless you have an idea right now and the idea seems viable, and maybe you have some kind of standby cash that could last you for 6 months, then I would say that you could do some research and start, right? So it really depends on how passionate you are to want to start business. But if you were to ask me, if we do some planning before we just jump into everything, I would really say take 1 year, at least 1 year, pick up some skill. Now here I am talking about having experience, right? But if you have a chance, those are essential. But if you have no choice and you lost a job, then this won't be my conversation. I will tell you how we're gonna get the necessary up and get running now so that you have money and feed your family for the next few months, right? So if you have 1 year choice, then that's what I'll do. Really get the entrepreneurship skill set up, some financial skill. To me, some understanding of accounting, the concept of how profit and loss and works. I think it's helpful. So yeah. But also for me, I was working for a long time, and when I was aged maybe 27, I was attending a lot of workshops for like 4 or 5 years. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and so I've been thinking about trying to come up with an amazing idea to start my business for like many years. I couldn't, so I thought maybe it was a paycheck syndrome, because I have paycheck and I'm comfortable, so I can't think of any idea. So I decided to leave my job and took a 1 year break. So I went traveling around the world to Nepal, to various developing countries, to to see the world and to spend my money. So when I thought that once my bank gets lower, then I maybe get more panic and then I would really want to start something. But after 1 year, I was panicked. I didn't have any idea. So I went into a .com, a sunrise industry, and I worked at sales and alliance for another. Then I got retrenched twice. And my last retrenchment, I decided just any business, let's just start. So that's how I picked the industry. So
Love
it's
it.
never one way. Yeah.
We have a very interesting question from Salma. I love her questions. So Salma, she asks you, Karen, what are recruiters going to be looking for in the future across sectors in the future, besides the relevant technical skills? So she's got two questions. So the first question is, what are recruiters going to be looking for in the future across sectors in the future?
I came across an article, if I remember correctly, it says that a candidate with presentation skill, influence skill and presentation skill will have a higher chance of getting a job and have a 30% higher, I think 30% higher in salary or something. So which I think it's probably quite true because right now we are looking at products being sold online. And when we want to buy something, we actually go online and read at the articles, look at research, compare products, everything is online. So if you're a salesperson, you want to know how to do your blog, your VOR, and promote your products online. So I think everyone should have a strong presentation skill and definitely communication skill. That won't go away. But as we are moving into the AI industrial industrial revolution, the new industrial revolution, so I would say that certain function will be taken over by robots and AI. And so, but anything to do with human touch and creativity, it's something that maybe is harder to be touched by the robots. So I think that we need to pick up some technology skill, definitely, and presentation skill and the rest. So just so that you don't become obsolete. Yeah. I hope I answered the question.
The next part of her, let's see, she said, great points, thank you, about human touch. She loves it. The next part of her question is, besides the relevant technical skills, what should professionals and entrepreneurs focus upon to enhance their credibility? Wow. Yeah. That's a good one.
Credibility, I would say, testimonial from your ex-employer, from your clients, from people you know. Put them on LinkedIn, ask them to send you and put it on LinkedIn if you could. But a lot of people don't like to do that on LinkedIn, so you can just collect the testimonial, even a short one. So that's one. And if you have some professional certifications or you are a leader in some organizations, that could also give you some credibility. During the interview, it's very important you come across very authentic and very trustworthy. To be very, very transparent about your resume. Sometimes when I look at resumes, people try to hide too much. And sometimes one of the items they hide is not even important, but because of that, it discredits the entire resume, So I think being very real and very authentic is important. Yeah, and then establish your social and professional credibility through networks and associations and